Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Almond Joy's got nuts, mounds don't. Because sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
Oh, hi. I'm Robin Hoffman. I'm a public artist here in Charlottesville. And some people want to know, what's a public artist? Well, right now, a client has called me. You know, you never know, as a public artist, you might have to do anything. You have to do graphics, you have to do logos, you know, and it's amazing that we're able to be adaptable spatially. Like when you walk into a room somewhere, which happens to be a penthouse, which happens to be in Trump Towers, but anyway, you know, you have to be able to have your equipment to be able to do whatever. Now, what always happens, and this is something that, you know, just being a public artist, you have to get used to, is that the client, be it a commission for the city, or the commission for a private person, or a sports event, or a bus, the clients usually are not the artists, so therefore they hire artists. And what do our artists have to do is they have to help the branding aspect of, like you'll say to the client, you know, what is it that you're, you know, doing? You know, like, what should I know to be able to make your logo? So what are you about? That sort of thing. And sometimes it's not clear until you get into a conversation. And I got here just in time to meet this client. But here's the thing. The client isn't going to show up. The client just decided at the last minute they weren't going to show up. And so now, again, you have to be adaptable. Thank goodness I have my outdoor cart and my indoor-outdoor cart, easel. So what is this easel? Now, as you can see, this easel is on a desk, but it also has legs. It's portable, and it works for everything. It can work as a desk. If I lay it down, it can be for a drawing that I have. So, and also because I knew I was working with a client and they were gonna have a sustainable business of some sort, I brought some sustainable literature and also magazines. Now, magazines have graphics already. They already talk about the culture of the environment through the artist's eyes, through the message. So, and then it's a modern take if you get a current periodical. For instance, this is a Seville magazine extra. It's called CBiz. And so in this magazine cover, you see somebody installing solar panels. And the graphics on here, of course, the artist decided, okay, they wanted it to be red lettering, and they wanted, you know, whatever. So the message would be clear, but also attractive to somebody who's going, for instance, to the post office, where people go to get the Seville and different periodicals that the city and Seville magazine puts out. All right, so now, I have to put my hat on because of the light and, oh,
Robin.
Candy, how are you?
Good to see you. What are you
Have a
doing
seat
here?
over here. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
what a
I'd love to.
surprise. You
Nice
have
to
no
see you.
idea how much I need you right now.
Oh, I'm always
It's just
happy.
amazing. So now
Timing
here we
is
are.
everything. Especially if I get to sit. I love that part.
Oh, good. Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm here. We're here, and you won't believe what I'm up against right now. So you are the perfect person. First of all, I know you for many years now, and you've been able to tie in people's business ideas, their branding, their logos, and their marketing. You are this, I guess, the Oprah of marketing here in Charlottesville.
I'll take it.
And
I wish I had Oprah's money, though. That's the only thing.
Okay.
So I could give you a car, and you a car, and everybody a car.
So I was hoping, now that I see you, so my client isn't showing up. I came all this way. I'm, in the penthouse, for goodness sake, right?
Right.
And the client hasn't shown up, and I'm sitting here clueless. All I know is about sustainability. And so I was thinking, for instance, maybe you could read some information for me, and then we could figure out together what maybe the logo or the strategy would be for a logo. And I know this seems very impromptu and...
Just a bit.
But how fortunate.
I'm excited.
And the thing is, I don't have to pay you because you're just here, right? All right, I'll pay you.
No. On the house.
Okay, so if you don't mind, can you read, do you have your readers on, whatever it's
We're
called?
going to have to hold it out here because I'm getting older.
Okay.
David and Goliath, why art?
Yes.
Okay, why art? David and Goliath. Endless promotion, glossy ads, celebrity spokespersons, all urge us to acquire the latest, greatest thing until it is replaced by the next. By comparison, this is a quiet voice, barely audible in the clamor of relentless persuasion, urging thinking people to consider the real quality, relevance, and longevity of assets acquired over a lifetime. What will they say about you, and how will they impact your family?
Okay, being that I know what that advertisement is for, do you think, now that you just read that information, that they actually delivered the information for you to be attracted to what they're selling?
In my opinion, no, but that is a short snippet of information taken out of context.
Exactly. So they ask artists, for instance, to come up with ideas based on their idea of what they want to project, right? And it's very difficult, isn't it? So, wait, I have one more.
Okay.
So, okay. Okay. So let's look at this one. So this is UVA. UVA is doing a huge initiative called sustainability. And in this sustainability, they want to be able to give us, all of us, different ways to change our lives. So they're inventing things like floating islands for the kids at school. I know, right?
First I've heard of it, but,
And
not
these
my
are-
market.
Right? Okay, there you go. So now let's say you're the person that I really need in league with me to talk to the client, no?
Well, it's getting the information from the client and asking the questions about who is their market. And when I say market, I'm talking about their audience. What is the demographics? What is the age? What is the culture? What is they do for entertainment? What kind of message are they trying to get across? Do they want it as a contemporary theme? If you're going for a younger audience, that may be the way to go. Are they trying to brand it with other brands so that you have to have similar color palettes? Those type of things.
And you never know what people are thinking, I guess, until they actually, say, all right, this is what I wanted you to do.
Okay.
If you don't mind. If you can look at some of these are actual people doing those things. So these are the different things that they're doing. Let's just take one and
Okay, so you have project title, Recover Resilience and Sustainability of Oyster Reefs on Virginia's Eastern Shore.
First thing comes to your mind. How would you then, what would you think about doing for that person making that product?
That's kind of hard. It's the project, and I need to know how many people are educated on oyster reefs. We need to have the data. How critical is it? When I look at marketing or just starting with the logo design, where is that logo going to be used? When I think of the Virginia Eastern Shore and oyster reefs, I'm thinking visual, and I'm probably thinking television. So if I'm going to create this campaign with television or this logo in mind for TV, it has to produce well on television.
Okay,
So-
hold that
okay.
thought. And this is, I was thinking about that myself, so just give me a second, if you don't mind.
And you need to show the problem. So I just wanted to state that, you know, before you can address the problem for people to understand it, you have to show them what the problem is.
Hold that thought. This is brilliant.
Hello.
Bev.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was wondering if you could help us out. My friend Candy just surprised me. We're talking and discussing how we market something, and then if we find a new product that we're not familiar with, and Candy was talking about oysters. And I was wondering if you have any jingles about oysters that you know about.
Well, maybe. Good. Good. Dr. Campbell's oyster soup is good.
Okay, talk about another one, Candy. Give it another
I'm going to try to find something interesting.
Yes.
Cut the engine. Potential gains from a no idling policy at UVA.
So what?
Let's see. Oh. Once upon a time there was an engineer.
Yeah.
Choo-choo Charlie was his name, we hear. He had an engine and it sure could run. He used good and plenty candy to make his train run. Charlie says, love my good and plenty. Charlie says, really rings the bell. Charlie says, love my good and plenty. Don't know any other candy that I love so well.
That was brilliant. So go ahead, Candy. This is just so fun. Go ahead.
Okay, so we are creating jingles. All right, let me see if I can give her a hard one, because she did that pretty quick.
That's Beverly. Beverly, can I ask you a question? Do you remember telling me that they're making you teach Spanish, that you were an art teacher, and then they were making you teach Spanish, and that you looked at the subway advertisements in Spanish, and that's how you remembered questions for the class?
Sí, sí. La vía del tren subterráneo es peligrosa. Si el tren se para entre las estaciones, no salga afuera. Sigue las instrucciones de los operadores del tren o las policías.
What she said. I have no idea what she said. I took Spanish back in 10th grade. All right, so are we ready for another one?
Subway tracks are dangerous. If the train stops between stations, follow the instructions of the train operators
Thank you so
or
much.
the police.
Good to know. Hopefully I'll remember that.
Oh, gosh. Okay, challenge her now. I doubt
Okay.
if you can. Go ahead.
Radical transparency in the extended supply chain of chocolate. Impact on consumers and supplies.
Oh, sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't because. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't.
Okay. I don't think we can really challenge Beverly. Do you want to do one more?
I don't think we can either. She seems to know a lot about her jingles and about the history of advertising.
She's brilliant. What can I say? She's one of the most brilliant artists I know. But go ahead.
All right, I guess we're challenging. One more.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, we're going to go into wildflowers. Managing for native wildflowers. Testing for effects of native versus exotic pollen collection. I'm thinking plop, plop,
While
fizz,
I was
fizz.
collecting the pollen, I got stung by a bee. So I am stuck on Band-Aids because Band-Aids stuck on me. I am stuck on Band-Aids because Band-Aids stuck on me. I am stuck On Band-Aids I am stuck. On Band-Aids I am stuck. On Band-Aids, 'cause Band-Aids stuck on me.
Well, Beverly Zilberman Hoffman, I want to thank you so much for your participation in our trying to get branding for these different sustainable ideas, products. And isn't it interesting that it took the three of us actually to come up creatively for something that seemed almost as if there was nothing to be appealing about it, you know. So Candace is talking surely about data, marketing, and demographics, and certainly acknowledging your creativity and being able to bring it to a TV spot, right? So that, in fact, the audience would enjoy looking at something that seems almost inane, something that seems almost not visually approachable at this point, just from the idea of it. But now that Candace and I are in here, I'm going to be able to draw something because of you, Beverly, and because of Candace. I'm going to be able to actually make something for the client that's supposed to arrive here any minute. So, so I'm talking to.
I'm looking forward to seeing your picture.
Thank you. So we'll send it to you, and but also thank you so much for being so gracious and available for helping us. And I'm sure that Candace will be, Candy will definitely take a piece of her payment for giving you a slice of the pie. And so.
A pie?
A very small pie.
Nobody doesn't like Sara Lee.
Okay, I love you, Bev. We'll speak to you soon. Thanks so much for your help. Bye-bye from Brooklyn. That was helpful, do you think? So, all right, let's get to it then. So what we did here basically is what, you know, I think that people don't realize that, you know, it entails sort of playing with the thing, being able to, you know, come up with what the client hasn't done, which is what we did here, right?
Well, it's all about communication. You know, if the client can't communicate their ideas, and they did put it in writing, and if you're not familiar with this particular product of sustainability, it's always good to look at other resources. And there's nothing better than sitting around and brainstorming and being creative with a bunch of creative people.
And I think that the benefit also is the experience. I mean, how long have you been doing this sort of thing?
Oh, we're going to start knowing my age, but since it's all over Facebook anyway, over 35 years, I think.
Awesome.
But I started in journalism, as you know, and went into television production in New York and did commercials. And then when I moved from New York to Charlottesville, I ended up getting my first marketing gig with a law firm that's no longer in Charlottesville, but a lot of people who've been around would probably know the law firm of Chandler, Franklin, and O'Brien. And there I learned about data and research and statistics. But because I had the background in news and communication, I was able to take both of those items and put the creativity with the analytical thinking. So I was able to act creatively, but think analytically, which is sort of what we do at Schoner Communications all day long.
Awesome. Also, you, how we met was you started an organization called Virginia Artists in Action. And I remember, and I'm probably wrong about this, but I remember us sitting like in a restaurant or something. And then like we just clicked, you know, like we were on the same page at the same time. And then you go, oh, let's get together and, you know, get a bunch of artists or whatever. And then this is very interesting to me because a lot of people ask me this question. Like if you're on a very low budget and you're starting a company or whatever, there is a situation where you can go into for rent or for lease building, a commercial space. I'm going to take my hat off because I'm not painting. I thought I was going to paint, but I'm not going to paint. I'm not going to draw either. This is too interesting. You can do whatever you want.
I've distracted you from drawing.
No. Actually, the opposite. It's just that I'm exploding with ideas right now. But I really want to talk with you more because you're so interesting, and I hope we can continue this talk. I think what I'm hoping is that you'll be a segment along with your own gig. But here's what I'm saying, is that when we got together, you decided to bring a bunch of artists into a leased or a rental. And I was wondering about that. Like, here you have all this commercial space for rent, for lease, and how does one talk to the landlord or whatever and say, and sorry, I think, okay, I tried to turn my phone off, but it didn't go off, which is terrible. Okay, so
Well, the irony is
yes,
that if you recall when we first got together, Virginia Artists in Action, that was 2008.
yes,
Well, actually, it was 2007 in the planning stages.
yes,
And my initial concept was to do this via the internet because the internet at that time was taking off. I could see it going to be exploding. And I thoroughly enjoy helping out nonprofits to raise money to keep their nonprofits going. And as you know, Charlottesville has a ton of nonprofits. So I thought artists could use some help in marketing their product, their wares, their services. And at the same time, if I created this venue where if they sold something on the internet, a portion of the proceeds of that piece sold would go to their nonprofit of choice, that we would be helping out the whole community, essentially. And my background being in news and PR, I decided to try to lease some space just to create awareness and buzz about Virginia Artists in Action. And I went to a framing shop, the Great Frame Up, on Arlington Boulevard. I remember this. And I said to the guy who was not doing well with his framing shop, it was hidden, it was poor visibility, he wasn't getting enough traffic to increase the sales. I said, how about you rent me a space for nothing? Okay, so maybe it's not renting. You donate a space to the community. I will then set up a gallery, drive traffic to your store of artists who is your demographic, and they will then want to use you as your framer. And he took the bait. We did great for him for 3 months. We created a buzz. We got free publicity for the artist. And then I lost my vision. This is where I went off kilter, and even experienced business people like myself can sometimes go off kilter. The artists were very excited. I think you would agree.
Oh, yeah.
They loved having a space.
You did a fabulous job
Thank
getting
you.
us, first of all, in there, the whole thing, marketing it. And then we had brochures. We had everything.
We
It
did,
was
and we had a
gorgeous.
great collective group of artists.
Oh, my God.
From
Serious
sculptures
people. Serious.
to painters like yourself.
Lithography, everything. Photography.
Fabric artists. And
It
we
was
also
amazing.
added music, which also brought more people to the venue. But I negotiated a really good deal for the rent because the economy was tanking and York Place had some space. And decided to go ahead and continue with the gallery.
I remember that, by the way. And so we're about to wrap this up a little
Okay.
bit. And I just want to thank you, first of all, for showing up, because I was in such desperate condition. I didn't have any ideas. This person didn't show up, so he didn't feed me, so to speak. But I want to thank you so much, and I hope we can do another segment where we actually read either the New York Times business section or the Washington Post business section and come up with some of the entrepreneurs, especially women who are coming up and that are not posturing, that they actually have experience and they know what to do, that as you do, and we have experienced here on this show. And so thank you very much.
Thank you,
And-
Robin. And it's great running into you. I'm glad that I was available to do this. It was so much fun, and I'd love to come back anytime you need someone to fill in.